State Auditor Allison Ball with us. We're back to this kinship care thing again, and apparently the governor said he was going to make this work, or did something to try to, that he said was going to make it work, and apparently it's not going to make it work. And there's some sort of hearing about this, right, Ms. Ball?
Yes, that sums it up nicely. And really what this is, if I can give some backstory to kind of lead up to where we are again, this involves this kinship care situation that we've been wrestling with for over a year now. And what this would do, and it was passed by the legislature and it was signed by the governor, what it would do is it would allow resources to be available for relatives who are caring for kids who would otherwise be in the traditional foster care system. So foster care kids have a lot of resources available to them, sometimes SNAP benefits, a variety of things. And this would just allow grandma, aunt, godparent, whoever it is who's taking care of these kids to be able to have these resources themselves. It's a great initiative. It's important. It's needed in Kentucky. There's about 55,000 kids that are in the kinship care system. So it's something that would affect a lot of children in Kentucky. We've been battling this out for a while because the General Assembly said there was funds to be able to provide these resources to families, and the governor, after he signed the law, said that there were not funds. So they were going back and forth, and this seemed like the appropriate time for the state auditor to step in, because one of the things we do is we review the books. We look at finances, and we determine where money has been spent, where it should be spent. And so this is very normal run-of-the-mill business for us. So we stepped in and said, okay, we'll review the books, and we'll determine if this money is there, and if it's not there, we'll tell the General Assembly that they need to appropriate funds for it. For the first time, really, in anyone's memory in the auditor's office, the cabinet in charge of this, Cabinet of Health and Family Services, said that they would not provide documentation to us. They provided us some, but there's the bulk of the documents they requested, they didn't give us. So we actually brought a lawsuit to get access to those documents. The judge dismissed it, saying that it wasn't right yet, and the judge took a position that they hadn't really obstructed anything yet, that there had just been some delays, et cetera. They hadn't obstructed, and one of the things he said to us was, we need to go out and send subpoenas. He said the subpoenas had not been sent yet. So we took that as a directive, and we sent out subpoenas, and we're still going back and forth to try and get access to documents and access to people to interview them. So that's an ongoing process. In the meantime, the Cabinet of Health and Family Services has proposed a regulation dealing with this issue, and it's relevant for two things. One, this regulation would say, it gives a price tag to it. Previously, the governor's office said it would cost about $20 million to do this, and the price tag in this regulation is $15 million. So that's interesting to us, because we've been trying to find out the whole time, okay, what is the value? And at this point, we can't say determinatively whether it's $20 million, $15 million, or $1 million, because we've been trying to get access to those documents, and we've not been provided that. So it's interesting to us that the number has changed. And also, they have said that they will only use state-provided, state-appropriated dollars to do this. And that's unusual, because it's customary to use other sources, like federal funds, to provide these kinds of resources. And that's one of the things that we have, from the information we've been able to gather, we've looked at to see, okay, is there federal funding available? Because we believe there is federal funding available to do this. So it would limit the pool that you could use to provide kinship care resources. It's baffling to me. It's a great need, and it should be a priority number one for the administration. And for some reason, it does seem like they're dragging their feet and trying to make this about as difficult as possible.
It's an awful...
So
It's a terrible look for a guy that goes around saying things like, my faith tells me we should care about people. And, he's got foster kids and families hanging in the balance here that could be doing this and claiming there's no money when he finds money for plenty of other stuff.
I was going to say, that was after the General Assembly kind of had to browbeat him into funding the senior meals and Meals on Wheels. They miraculously found money, and there was enough money that they found that they didn't use on that would fund this.
That's exactly right. And we pointed that out at the time, because he said this was funding that was set aside to do a Medicaid examination, and that didn't happen. So it's like there's nothing being used for this money, so it can fix the Meals on Wheels problem. And then it was obvious from the amount of money that he said was there that it could also cover the money that they say is needed in kinship care. So to me, and they never answered our letter on that either. We said, okay, well, why don't you just use this? And we've got no answer on that. So it is deeply disappointing that it seems like there are avenues all the time to be able to provide these funds, and they won't even let us look at the books to find out how much it actually costs and what's available. And they just seem to be trying to limit it all the time. So this is actually set for a hearing date. Whenever you have regulations, you allow the public to weigh in. And so it's on December the 22nd, right before Christmas, 9 a.m. But, we're always busy in the auditor's office, so we're working that day, and we're going to be over there, and we're going to be providing a comment on this based upon the information we have and what we know. So we're going to be objecting to these proposed regulations on Monday. The public can also file written comments by New Year's Eve, December 31st. So New Year's Eve, it's a day a lot of people take off, but the Cabinet of Health and Family Services has said, you have until that time to provide written comments on this reg.
How do you send that in?
So even it's a great question. If you go, there is information available on their website. If you go onto their website, it does provide a way, and actually there's also a way for the media to be able to listen in on that particular hearing as well. So you have to go onto there, and it's spelled out on there, and you can go onto it. So it almost seems like not only are these regulations extremely restrictive, but the timing that they've set for when this should be available to the public is when the public is usually pretty busy. Christmas week, New Year's week.
Yeah, that seems another, unexplainable problem to. It's like I don't know why they're.
Well, they've timed it out well for themselves, I think.
So I have an idea, Allison, that I think will fix this whole thing. Tell the governor, just between the two of you, call him. I'm sure you get his cell phone. Call the governor and tell him that the kids that these families want to take care of are trans kids. He'll find the money. Guaranteed.
Yeah.
You'll have more money than you know what to do with.
Yeah.
It'll be there.
Well, you would think that these folks might be voters that he might want their vote sometime soon.
Yeah, for a guy that's auditioning to run for president, this is a bad look.
Well, and it is a type of child that is very vulnerable, in great need, and they exist all over the Commonwealth of Kentucky. So in small towns, big cities, this is a very pressing need everywhere.
Well, it's in the Bible. In James, we did this when they were talking about the Meals on Wheels. James 1:27 talks about caring for orphans and widows in their distress. You've got foster kids, right. I think, qualify as that, and yet his faith teaches him to take care of these people, but he seems to be fighting it tooth and nail.
Yeah, it is. It's deeply disappointing. It's baffling to me. It should be, I believe, priority number one. If you have to cut something, and I don't believe that you do, but for sake of argument, let's say that it's true that they're financially tight. You cut something else that's not important, and you make sure this is funded right away, because this is a very clear need. And we hear from grandparents, we hear from aunts, we hear from people, and these are often very low income or fixed income, and they are being heroic and sacrificial to take these children into their homes. The law provides for this. The money should be there.
Well, and there are organizations of folks like this, of grandparents, of raising children of family members. There are sort of almost like a support group of those folks. There's a lot of them out there. There's a lot more than you would imagine.
Yeah.
And you're right. It is a pressing need, and that's why every time something comes up about this, we want to talk to you about it, because we want people to be aware that this is going on, and that it's an issue that needs to be fixed.
And send these things in and put some heat on the governor on this thing.
Yeah.
Get this comment in there. Let them know what you think about this thing.
That's exactly right. And I really do believe one of the reasons the Meals on Wheels situation, the senior meals problem, was resolved was because the public responded right away. I know you all were very vocal about it. People all over Kentucky were responding to it. Legislators had hearings on it. And that does tell you that when people are very engaged and very public, the governor's administration does respond to that kind of pressure.
Well, let's respond and get this going here, and this needs to be done. State Auditor Allison Ball, we appreciate you holding their feet to the fire on this. Good luck at the hearing on the 22nd. Give it
Thank
to
you very
them.
much.
Go in there and pitch it hard.
Thank you. We will. We'll give it all we've got.